Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to any new viewers. This is a reading for Capricorn, my beautiful Capricorn, sun, rising, moon signs. Anyone with strong Capricorn placement, this reading is for you. This is going to look at your current energy of the people, situations surrounding you for the month, and the overall outcome of those situations. Pull some cards for advice, plus any other messages that need to come through for my Capricorns. Let's see what's going on. If you like the reading, don't forget to like the video, subscribe. I really appreciate it. Helps me create more content for you guys. Let's just see what's at the bottom here because the deck just wanted to kind of flip around on me. We've got Temperance at the bottom. Ooh. Again, we had a few flip out here, so let's have a look. We've got Nine of Fire, which is the Nine of Wands. We've got the Seven of Air, Seven of Swords, and the Queen of Air, Queen of Swords. So I'm just going to pop those here for the time being. And let's get into it. So Capricorn, there are quite a few major arcana cards in this reading, which means that this is kind of it's an important month, I would say. There's a lot going on. I think there's a lot of new information that's coming in. You're also getting a lot of, whether you want to call it psychic downloads or downloads from your own, inner knowledge, guidance, intuition. There's a lot happening here, but there's a lot to analyze because changes are happening. You're making changes, or you're wanting to make a change, and this could be in multiple areas of your life. So I think you're going to look back on this month and be like, wow, okay, that there was like a turning point here, perhaps in many areas, right? But I am feeling like there's still a lot that you need to uncover. There's a lot of unknowns, but there's a big push or focus on your intuition and your own inner knowing about something. You've got to tap into your feelings here. Now, sometimes there could be a sense of, and perhaps this was the case in the past, of really trying to not focus or ignore your feelings about something, right? Ignore your intuition about something. I don't think you're going to be able to do that for much longer. You have like this inner knowing, this feeling here. With the moon energy, this is really about the unknown, something needs a light shed on it. However, I'm really getting the sense, like I may or may not have said earlier, that you kind of already know the answer to this. You already know the feeling. It's just buried underneath. It hasn't come to the surface yet. And it could be the fact that you just haven't spoken about it. You haven't verbalized it. You haven't brought it out into the world yet. With the strength energy, I do get this sense that you're keeping something under wraps. Now, this could even be some kind of project that you're working on. You're doing something and you don't want everyone to know yet. Okay, it's kind of like, let me work on this. Let me see how it goes before I talk about it, before I make it public knowledge. I do feel that you are very much in control of this. And for whatever reason, you're wanting to keep it under wraps for the time being. This could be a number of different things. This could be, for some of you, it could be a relationship that you're wanting to keep under wraps, or you're keeping this is what I feel most likely. If this has to do with like a relationship where there are feelings involved here, I get the sense that you have not expressed your feelings about a particular issue or something that's going on, or for a person, you're kind of keeping that under wraps. And for others of you, and it could be a combination of both, this has to do with something that you are working on. This could even be making a decision to, you know, for example, change your career path, and you're getting ready to do that, but you just haven't made it known yet. Maybe you're exploring your options, or you're thinking about what to do before you make this kind of this major change or transition, and you're being selective about who you talk to about it, or you're not talking to anyone about it. You're keeping it under wraps. So I think in some ways that is to your benefit. In other ways, it is putting a bit of pressure on you. You are feeling the pressure of doing this. You're having to use a lot of that inner strength. But you're capable of it. You're handling it, okay? You're handling it. We've got this energy around you of the High Priestess. We've also got the Eight of Cups. This is, again, a very, very strong intuitive energy. This is water sign energy, Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. This is the sense of it's time to move on from something. It's time to almost close one chapter and start a new one, right? So like I said before, for some of you, this is going to have something to do with a career, you know, your work, a project, something that you've been putting a lot of time into. It's now time to move away from that. It's time to start something new. It's time to evolve. It feels right, okay? It feels right. So for those of you who, again, making this kind of work or career transition, that feels right to me. I think that you've accessed your internal knowing, your intuition about that, and it feels good. It makes sense logically, and it feels good intuitively as well. So it's nice when those, you know, two things match up, because they don't always do. So I think that that's going to be a good move for you, and it almost seems it's inevitable. Okay, you know this is coming. It's also like, just for an example, imagine, you know, you're trying to make a change in your life and it doesn't kind of pan out because the opportunity falls through. It doesn't matter. Something has still changed, and another opportunity will come and you'll be ready to take it, because it's like a change in mind shift or mindset, sorry. Something has shifted and you're now getting ready to move on, and so you're going to become more aware of opportunities to do that. Now, for others of you, or again, this could be, you know, two different things happening. This could be, like I said, some sort of emotional conversation which you have not had yet with a significant person in your life that you have a relationship with. There's something that has still not been communicated properly. It has not been communicated in black and white. We're dealing with a lot of intuition and a lot of gut feelings here and that sort of thing, and we need to move to a place where things are out in the open, but they will be very soon. I'll get to that in a second. So there's a lot here that remains unsaid, and there could be someone around you who it's not very mature, but almost expects you to be able to understand what they're thinking and what they're feeling. And you, whilst you think you know, you're also wanting this conversation to actually happen in real life. You're wanting the communication about this to be more clear and more direct. I think for those of you who this resonates with, I think you know what I'm talking about, because there's a strong sense here that you do have the correct intuition about what is going on in this situation, about what this person is thinking, feeling, wanting. But of course, we always should get clarification of that. You can't just rely on, what you're feeling. You should really have an open and honest discussion about this. Like I said, the clarity or the openness is coming. When we look at the moon energy, this is all about things, being under the surface or not being fully known, being somehow felt intuitively, maybe even having, dreams about something. And then we move on to very, very open energy here with the Sun and with the Judgment card. So the Sun really shines a light on anything, any situation, right? So, the moon has a light, and that light comes from the Sun. The moon reflects the sun's light, as we know, right? So you've had the idea of this, but by the month's end, it's all coming out into the open now. So, like I said before, this could be that conversation or communication that needs to happen is now finally going to happen. There's a lot more clarity. But what I love about the Sun, it is the happiest card of the deck, if not, one of the happiest cards in the deck. So whatever stress or negativity comes from what you're dealing with at the moment, the Sun puts a very, very positive spin on it. It's not all bad. And sometimes, we all do this, we're all guilty of it. We make things out to be a lot worse in our minds than what the situation actually is, right? So there's this sense that once this all comes out in the open, it's like, oh, okay, it wasn't as bad as what I thought. I'm seeing a lot of positivity and optimism here, but I'm also seeing that something is really going to change, okay? Now, there's a strong sense of fairness here. So for some of you, there's this sense that you were in a situation or are in a situation, whether that be a personal relationship or a work situation, where you may not feel like everything was it wasn't fair, okay? Something wasn't fair. Maybe, for example, you were working really, really hard for a long time and you weren't compensated properly, or you weren't given the promotion or the pay rise that you deserved. Just one example. Or, people took advantage of your good nature and your very hard-working nature and just kind of expected that to continue and didn't really give you the praise or recognition that you deserved. That's going to change. That is going to change. Something is going to come to light. And this, like I said before, this could be you deciding to completely move on, close one chapter of your working life and move on to something else. Someone may be very disappointed by that or very upset by that, by you moving on, but it's going to be very, very, very good for you, very beneficial for you, because I think, again, that you will potentially working hard for a very long time, and finally you're moving on to something where you're going to get more recognition and rewarded a little bit better. For others of you, or again, you could be dealing with both things in your life at the moment, there's going to be some kind of truthful conversation when it comes to this personal relationship, okay? So feelings that were beneath the surface are now going to, you're going to be able to put words to it, and someone else around you who expects you to intuit what they're feeling is going to finally have that discussion, have that conversation. But it is a sense that, like I said, things will change from this point onwards, okay? So you're not going to go back to how it was before. It's a turning point this month. Like I said earlier, you're going to look back on this month and think, wow, okay, this represents a time when things really changed here. I do feel like you're getting a sense of clarity, finally. And you're also knowing your worth a bit more, and you're not willing to put up with getting taken advantage of again. You've learned some kind of lesson here about how to perhaps speak up for what you're worth and what you deserve. So there's some kind of communication with regards to that. You've gained some kind of wisdom. You were fighting a battle for too long and you weren't getting rewarded or recognized, definitely. And unfortunately, there have been people around you who are more manipulative than what you initially thought. I think you've come to that realization now or by the end of the month. This could be someone who, again, like it may not even be in your personal relationship. It could be an employer who, was pretending like, the company doesn't have enough money. And so you weren't rewarded for that reason. But really that was just a manipulation on their behalf and they could have, given you more. Or again, someone was kind of taking advantage of you. Maybe you were doing too much for someone in a personal relationship and they were just kind of letting it slide. They were thinking, well, why change a good thing? Instead of reciprocating, they were just saying, cool, Capricorn's doing all this stuff for me, great. Why say anything and potentially stop that from happening? So I hate to say it, but some people, well, a lot of people, as we know, are like that. So instead of reciprocating, they will just, you give them an inch and they'll take a mile. You're not doing that anymore. And part of the reason why you're not doing that is because there's a lot more communication by the end of the month. So speaking your truth, very, very important. So whatever you were not speaking is now finally going to come to light. And you've gained a lot of wisdom about that. You've gained wisdom as to what you should be talking about and what you shouldn't. I'm going to leave it there. Very, very significant month, Capricorn, in many ways, in more ways than one, I feel. So at the end of the day, don't forget that there is that positive spin on this with the sun. So everything is going to work out. You've been dealing with a couple of tough things. You've made some big changes, or you got some big changes coming, but I do feel like it's all going to work out in your favor. So very, very nice to see that sun energy there. Thank you again for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I hope to see you all in the next video.